Happy Wednesday, UnWoke Nation. I'd like to welcome you to episode 141 of the UnWoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all services are on the table, and your boys, Rich and Tim, bring you the latest and greatest for your entertainment, baby. I'm your host, Rich, along with my co-host here. How you doing, Tim?
Great, Rich, man. Glad to be back. UnWoke Nation, guys, it's a pleasure to speak with you as always. We're going to kick things off tonight with a milestone. That's right. The UnWoke Show has hit a milestone in our short, yes, bravo, in our short existence. Earlier this week, we officially reached 2,000 all-time downloads.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, that's something we've been watching these numbers for a while, guys, but please understand so we cannot do this without you, you know, you tuning in every single week to our shows where for, week in, week out for these last 3 years where it's been unbelievable. We never, ever thought, and I'm sure Ting agree with me, and also we never thought of where that we would get so many listeners. We never thought, nevertheless, we're just here in our local neighborhood. We were counting on, Aunt Jemima and Uncle Remus just to listen to us.
To tune in.
We never think where we'd be having some of our UnWoke Nation friends be listening to us in so many great places, and also out there, in Japan, in Australia, in Russia, Uzbekistan. Even last week, we actually learned we had a listener shout out to someone in Iraq.
Yes.
Yeah, in Iraq.
There, and then we picked up a new follower. We want to give a shout out to Shadow Bass. Thanks for following us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. So, guys, we're going to dive into a story that I think has flown under the radar, if you will. It's been drowned out with all the political nonsense and the shutdown, which is on day 36.
Yep.
Okay. That's a story for another day. So tonight's episode is Trigger Laws, How One Shooting Sparked California's War on Glock.
Oh, War on Glock, huh?
Yeah, War on Glock.
Pew, pew.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to kick things off with, picture this. It's around 2 a.m. in downtown Sacramento. A fight breaks out. Gunshots erupt.
Okay.
Over 100 shell casings are found.
100?
Multiple shooters. 6 people will be dead. A dozen wounded.
Dude.
Yeah. Now imagine one of the handguns used wasn't just a semi-automatic pistol.
Really?
Yeah. It's a pistol turned into something much worse. A device known as a Glock switch attaches to a standard Glock-style handgun and turns it into a machine gun capable of full automatic fire.
Oh, that sounds nasty.
How many times have we looked on Twitter and saw people posing with their Glocks or showing up their...
Oh, you mean your friendly local gang member on the south side of Chicago?
Yep.
Okay.
The shooting becomes the trigger, pun intended, for California legislatures to pass AB 1127.
Okay, Tim, explain what that means.
A bill that prohibits licensed firearms dealers from selling so-called machine gun convertible pistols starting January 1, 2026.
You've got to be kidding me.
So today we ask, is this law a targeted fix to a glaring public safety hole? Or is this a broad brush ban driven by panic in politics?
All right. So, as you know, Tim, we've been dealing with a lot of things lately, in these last couple of years of people, talking about, you have your people who are, 2A people like ourselves. And then you have some people who are the types is like where, they just have this, what would you call it? This, ridiculous ideology where so that if we get rid of all guns, that life would be just so much better. We'd be sunshine and rainbows and eating, eating candy all day long, and the world would just be so happy. But they tend to forget one part, Tim. You know what that is? The prerequisite of being a criminal is to break the law, and therefore, if you actually end up trying to get rid of guns, criminals will probably be very good at trying to find some guns to break more of the law. Now, we know this is actually true because we look at what prohibition was. So, of course, prohibition at that time where it was actually banned all of the United States and all. But yet, didn't you find it kind of funny that people still found a way to create things like, I don't know, rum running and speakeasies and stuff like that. So, So I was just like, when I hear stuff like this, it's like, it just bothers me. You know what it does? It reminds me of those people who are out there who claim, just like you hear some of these protesters out there who want to talk about, getting rid of 2A and guns like that, where and you start really asking them questions, Tim. Like, what do you know about this portion of the gun or that portion of the gun? It's like, oh, we can't have guns out there that have 100 magazines to one gun. The hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And the point being is that they have no understanding of guns at all. And they don't want to sit there and try to make a law about it. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. So let's start off with a Glock and what a switch is.
Okay.
So Glock and other gun manufacturers employ a trigger system that is called a striker fired. Okay. So what that means is the gun has an internal firing pin system. It does not use a traditional hammer fired system like on a 1911.
Right.
Okay. So essentially, striker fires, no hammer. Okay. Great. A switch is a piece of plastic that gets wedged into the sear so that or modifies the sear in such a way that when you press the trigger and hold it down, you're going to fire not just one round.
Right.
Not just 2 rounds, but in full auto, you're firing multiple rounds a minute.
Oh, wow. Yep. Okay. I can, due to unfortunate situation you started a story with, I can understand why there were unfortunately 6 fatalities and at least, what you said, 100 casings and 12 people wounded?
6 people dead, 12 people wounded.
Wow.
Okay. Now, as I said earlier, if you turn on, or if you log into X, for example, and look for Glock switch, you're going to see video after video of people showing up their illegally modified, and this is true, it is actually illegal to modify your Glock in such a way that allows for automatic fire. You can also hop on YouTube and you can see, or you can hop on Rumble and look up Glocks with switches on it.
Yeah, and actually, if you just look at this, so we were able to find a video. So although obviously you guys can only hear it, but at least it gives you a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, it gets off a lot real quick.
So, terrible tragedy about the shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very unfortunate. You should be able to go out, have a good time, and not have to worry about being a potential victim of gun violence. Operate safely. There's nothing that can be said about taking a firearm and turning it into a fully automatic weapon. Now, here's the thing. Glock is not the only manufacturer that produces handguns that have a striker-fired mechanism. Smith & Wesson.
Right. That's my, yep.
Okay. Springfield Armory. Okay. HK. Okay. Any of your Gen 3 Glock clones all use a striker fire system.
Okay.
to fire a bullet. Okay. So what AB 1127 effectively does is it bans the sale of any firearm that can be manipulated or converted into full auto. And when I talk about firearm, in this instance, I'm referencing handguns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So again, Smith & Wesson would fall under that ruling. Beretta, HK, obviously Glock, because it's
right.
Glock.
Probably one of the most popular gun brands here in America for a lot of you guys on Woke Nation.
Smith & Wesson, right?
Yeah.
They all fall under that ban.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your initial knee-jerk reaction, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
are talking initially about a knee-jerk reaction to a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what did Glock do? Glock capitulated to California. And it no longer sells its Glock handguns, I believe, except for one model. I believe it's the 43, or maybe the 43X. I'd have to go back and verify that, but that's what's standing out to me right now. All other pistols no longer sell.
So basically, because like you said, this knee-jerk reaction to so they basically have cut off an entire market in the state of California.
Yes.
Way to go, idiots.
So instead of pushing back, instead of Glock pushing back, it just threw its hands up, said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what step does Glock take next? It says it's going to produce a firing mechanism that will make it almost impossible, if not impossible, to modify and turn it into a full auto pistol. Okay. So that's the landscape has been laid.
Right.
Okay. What do we know about California gun laws?
Pretty much, if you ask my opinion, they're trying to ruin it as much as they can, or basically, one of these, as you like to say, the left coast has got this idea that if we just get rid of all of them, life will be so much better. Somebody can, shit on the sidewalk, in peace. Mm-hmm. That's what I would want.
Yeah. California arguably has some of, if not the most restrictive gun laws, except for
Chicago,
Illinois.
Yep.
Okay. Now, again, we're talking about a bill based on a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Okay. What are bills drafted and passed? What are those for? What are those laws for? To govern citizens.
Right.
Law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. The individuals that committed this atrocity were gangbangers.
They were gangbang?
I published a link to this where they believe this was a gang-based shooting.
Okay.
Do you know any law-abiding gang members, Rich?
Kind of goes back with how I started the show off. Kind of a requirement for you to be a gangbanging criminal is for you to actually break the laws. But apparently, in this particular situation, what we're dealing with is we now have people who are now being punished, who are law-abiding citizens, are now being punished because of some idiot, which you guys couldn't get off the street in the first place. Would I be correct by saying that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you are a California resident and you already own a Glock handgun,
Yep.
you are grandfathered in.
Right.
Okay. Because what are you? Most likely, you're a law-abiding citizen.
Who would have thunk it?
And in the case of this unfortunate situation, who was not a law-abiding group?
The gangbanger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if I get this right, laws are created and passed to help govern society.
Right.
Okay. And that society are generally those people who follow the rules.
Yep.
How do you govern criminals who knowingly break the law?
How do you govern them? Let me see. Arrest them, let them out in an hour, and let them keep on going.
So how is California Bill AB 1127 going to govern criminals?
It's not.
Thank you.
And that's the whole point. It's the same thing whereas it goes on, in Chicago. It's the same one, like you mentioned before, where it's got one of some of the biggest, anti-gun laws. And also you practically, who knows what you have to do where to be able to even get a gun. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. They have this idea that, this is the reason why we have so much shootings that happen, 24 to 27 shootings every single weekend, so in Chicago on a Saturday or something like that. And then when they don't want to sit there and deal with the fact that they really don't want to do anything when it comes to the criminals, then they want to start blaming it on like what some of the states we've heard of, like Indiana and all these other states where that they want to blame it on instead of them actually trying to solve the problem.
Well, what is it? The mayor of Chicago blaming Indiana for all the illegal guns that end up in Chicago.
No, that's not the case at all.
Right.
It's like, it's like, seriously, at one point, do you sit there and go, it's like, okay, we have a major issue that's going on. And of course, that issue goes on to other things like that. You have gun problems like here because we're dealing with violence, dealing with black on black crime because we don't have any fathers and like that. You know the whole thing.
Yep.
So you got all this stuff going on but he doesn't want to do anything. And so what does he do? He sits there and goes like, well, it's probably just because, black kids in this particular case, it's like, black kids are just being held down and all like that. So
right.
What are you supposed to do about it? It's like, your policies don't work. What does Illinois and California have in common? So they are ran by liberal governments who don't want to do crap for anybody.
Okay.
And then they sit there and they wonder why people are moving out of both states.
So you mentioned liberal government leaders. Mm-hmm. Okay. Where is the right on this one?
Where's the right on this?
It's been, as the research that I was doing about this story, something I have noticed, and I was also listening to another podcast about this, that blue state, California, liberal state, Democrats, this is what they want to do, right? Mm-hmm. They want to either restrict our right to firearms or completely take them away.
Pretty much.
And yet the Republicans in this instance haven't said a word.
Well, I feel like they've probably said enough to be able to go.
Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't Democrat versus Republican.
I understand.
This is a point that Democrats are making all this noise over here. Mm-hmm. We know how they feel about the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. Okay. Republicans are there to defend our gun rights. Mm-hmm. And yet nothing about this story or nothing about what Gavin Newsom and the liberals or the Democrats in California, mm-hmm. nothing was said to try and fight this from the Republican side.
So what you're saying is no one's really like come forward, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that seem kind of weird?
I mean, it's kind of weird, unless it's something we just haven't found yet, but I would hope somebody, I don't care where it is, that somebody will come forward and say something, not just us.
Well, you would think. Mm-hmm. So what has ultimately happened as a result of this law that has been passed? As it stands right now, 2A organizations such as the NRA, okay, and several other organizations have already filed lawsuits claiming that this law illegally infringes on the rights of
It does.
2A owners.
Yep.
Okay. Or people who support the Second Amendment. Okay. Mm-hmm. But this is what Democrats want.
But the thing is, Tim, that you have to ask the question, why?
Why?
Like, why is it so important that the delusion of thinking that taking all guns away is going to be okay, and just be okay with just having laws, but they do nothing but protect criminals? I don't get it.
We could probably do an entire series on dissecting the liberal mindset.
Right.
Okay.
Write a darn book.
Yeah. But that's not what this is about. This is about a law that was passed that clearly infringes on the rights of Californians and anybody that supports the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because what happens in California, are other states such as Illinois, for example.
Yep. They're paying attention. Yep. That's exactly where you're going there, Tim.
Exactly. So here's the bottom line. The 2022 Sacramento shooting was horrific.
Yeah.
Okay. It exposed the scary reality that inexpensive conversion devices can turn a common handgun into something far deadlier. Mm-hmm. Okay. That is true.
Right.
Okay. We're not disputing that.
Right.
The fact in itself demands response. Mm-hmm. But the response, even if well-intentioned, raises bigger questions. Okay. I have no issue with California wanting to do something to try to curb the banning of fully automatic handguns.
Okay.
Okay. I think if we look at it from the lens of in the spirit of they felt that they had to do something. Mm-hmm. Okay. But passing something that infringes on basic people's rights, no.
No.
So AB 1127 isn't just banning the device, again, already illegal. Mm-hmm. It's banning entire models of pistols that are susceptible to conversion. Okay? Mm-hmm. That takes us into constitutional, practical, and moral territory. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you're a responsible owner, you ask, and I'm being punished for what criminals might do. Right. And if you're a policymaker, you ask, is this law going to stop conversion devices or just shift the problem underground? And I would already answer, it's going to shift the problem underground.
It will. Criminals are going to find what they need to do their dirty. It just is what it is. And it just doesn't make any sense for them to sit there and to think that, okay, this is how it's going to, they have this end all be all type of mentality, Tim.
Right.
And thinking that that's going to solve the whole problem what's going on, where they don't want to attack the other major issues that are going on in that state or in several states.
Yeah.
And also.
Absolutely. So I'm going to leave it with this. Like always, the devil's in the details, and that's true. So don't accept narratives at face value. Read the bill. Ask who gets protected and who gets sidelined. Because if we're going to fix the problem, we better do it so smartly.
Yep.
All right, Unwoke Nation, thanks again for tuning in. Guys, you can reach us at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Again, that is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Rich, a pleasure as always, man. And remember, guys, stay unwoke.